Hello and welcome to Chapter 74 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host Clay. Clay, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty good. I had a full day. Sorry if I just hit the mic if y'all heard it. I had a full day's schedule, man. It's the normal go to work, go to lunch, go to work, type of thing. But like every single day after work, you guys know, I have way too many podcasts that I'm a part of. And because of that, I have to consume like freaking 6 hours of content constantly, immediately after work every single day. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it kind of gets in the way with like everything else. But I will say the one thing that we will be talking about, I watched Stargirl today, which was spoiled by Fandome, which we will also be talking about today. Um, and I watched Doom Patrol right after work. And it's just like, probably wasn't the best thing to watch, like immediately going into this conversation, because I'm a little bit down on that show. And I know some other people are too, but we will talk about that later. But of course, we are a part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. And again, always apologizing for my loud dog in the background. Um, but we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. And Brent, I know you say to cut this out of the intro, but I will always say it because everybody always trips. And I think it's now a new thing for us. 8 shows, 7 days a week. Slice of Film, World's Finest True Believers, DC Alliance, superhero discussions, Star Wars Alliance, a walk through the multiverse, and of course, Marvel Alliance. All 8, boom, right there, right off the bat. No problems whatsoever. We are. Oh, shoot.
I have a question
What?
in this intro. You said
Ranger
I don't-
Alliance as
no,
well on Mondays.
yes, but you said to Brent that uh, basically that's 7 days a week. But what about on the times where there's no Whack the Multiverse or Slice of Film?
Well, you know what? That is not my show. So, guys, you need to get up on it.
You
Okay?
should be like
You need
sometimes
to be
five,
you
sometimes six,
but see,
sometimes 7 days a week.
that is why people always trip. You just got to act like, see, nobody would have been the wiser if you hadn't have said anything.
Oh man, I'm
Heinz,
sorry.
come on.
Oh,
Come on.
I
But
failed you. I failed you. I'm
but
sorry.
of course we also are both listener and ad supported. What does that mean? Well, it means if you are not supporting us, the ads are supporting us, meaning there are going to be ads in this episode. Also, I don't know if you know this, Heinz. I'm pretty sure you do because it was told by all of us. I'm pretty sure, right? What do you no, dude? I am telling
No,
you.
no, no, just no.
Did you confirm it?
Yes, there would. Don't you think there would have been pre-packet? Forget anything Clay
Okay,
even talking about. He's
okay.
full of.
That is just a tease because I'm pretty sure we can already talk about it.
No,
But
not yet. Just
that's dumb. I got one date and it's already been 3 days past that date.
yeah, but you got
But
that. I
we
know.
will talk about it later, I
There you
guess.
go.
Small little tease for you guys. Somebody needs to get on that, whether it be Snell, whether it be
Uh,
me, whether it be you. We need to confirm this. Either way.
you. I'm a little insulted that you didn't think that I wrote and said asked if we could talk about this stuff, and was there something, piece of paper to talk
Well, you
about?
know what? You know what? Here,
So just
I will say this. I have been getting in a heap of trouble for sharing things before I was
yeah.
supposed to, because if people don't know,
Well, you can tell that.
Tom Taylor almost got me in trouble with DC Comics.
What
That's a story for later on. Maybe a
for
post credit.
Patreon?
No, we'll do a post credits about it. That's a funny story. We'll talk about it. But of course, if you want to support us, it's $1 just to support us, to say thank you. Here you go. If you want that exclusive content for Patreon, you can give us $5. Gives you exclusive content on top of early access to the shows that we have every single week. Now, I recently posted in the GUA chat, whoever wants to have the conversations, I'm really interested in talking about one, how does Star Wars get more streamlined into becoming more of a formula for just like the MCU. Me and Katie have been talking about this on Star Wars Alliance. We want to have a more bigger discussion with other people of the GUA. It may be an amalgam chat. It may be on Star Wars Alliance. Listeners, if you want to hear that, let us know. It's something that we definitely want to talk about. What me and Joe want to talk about, this is all just Patreon content that I'm planning for the future. We still need to get on Ronin. That's one that we definitely need to get on. But another one we want to get on, me and Joe, is talking about how you can make Power Rangers costumes more relevant for the modern era of like high budgeted superhero films, you know? So that one's a fun one as well that I would really like to have a conversation about. So, listeners, Patreons, Jesus, patrons, let us know. So, with all that being said, what?
DC Alliance, Marvel Alliance, and Star Wars
And
Alliance
Star Wars
all
Alliance
have
all
their
have
own.
their separate feeds. Yes. Please, please, please go rate and review those. Not only do we want to read those reviews live on the show, but it does help with the algorithm. So I recently, just gonna toot my own horn here, over at the Batman News Weekly podcast, we did a couple of hardcore searches on Batman podcasts. We are in the top 25 Batman podcasts out there in the internet. So I want the GUA and DC Alliance to be top 25 DC podcast. Don't know how that's going to be with my negative ass on this podcast, but we can
Titans is
definitely
almost
try.
over. Titans is almost over. So I
We could
mean,
definitely try. So,
over
well,
at Superhero Discussions, they'll think you're the most positive person of all time when you're talking about Young Justice.
well, let's go ahead and jump into the show, Travis. We have things written down here of how we're gonna go. There was a lot of information at DC Fandom. We're gonna have that conversation first. We're not gonna be talking about every single thing. This would be a 3-hour podcast if that were to happen. We're just
Well,
going
Clay, can I just say one thing is we're not talking about the animation, but that is covered. It's already recorded and in the can. Superhero Discussions has
to look
reviewed
at
it,
you.
all the animated stuff. I did that earlier today, and it was great to talk about. So,
Look at you.
yeah.
So, um, we will not be talking about that. We will be talking about all of the other big time trailers and news and whatnot, and the lack thereof on DC Fandom. Uh, we had trailer reactions as well. If you want to go see that later on in the Geekverse YouTube channel, you should be subscribed, by the way. Press that bell to know when we go live and when a video goes up. Now, where are we going first? Are we going to go DC Fandom overall, or are we going to go
Overall,
Batman? Okay, let's
let's
go
go for overall. Let's hit our
DC
overall
Fandom.
thoughts.
Travis, how'd you feel about it?
It was a slog to get through, if I'm being completely honest with you, Clay. There's a lot of stuff I liked in there.
We were starting to sound so professional and so positive, and you're like, it's a slog, you know.
No, there's so much great content in there. Don't get me wrong, listeners. I don't want to sound like a negative Nelly, but there should have been some sort of schedule. I didn't want to sit there for. There's at least 5+ minutes of Flula Borg, and if Flula Borg is your thing and you think he's funny, more power to you. I thought he was enjoyable in the Suicide Squad for the 60 to 90 seconds that he had in that movie, but just him as himself was not appealing to me. I thought that the way they said coming soon or up, like coming up, they would give 3 titles. And sometimes when they come back from commercial break, it wasn't even any of the 3 things that they were said was coming up. So I had no idea what was going on at times. And you're sitting there, you got to listen to stuff like myself and you personally would have probably skipped the Titans panel and a little bit of news because we were not digging that lately. But no, we had to sit there and watch everything. So I thought it was a little cheap the way they did that comparative to last year, where you had schedules and times. You knew when the panels were happening. You could watch a panel, take a panel off, and talk about what you just watched with your friends, and then go back to it again. Whereas here it was, nope, you're sitting through this almost 4 hours to get to the Batman. Don't you worry about that. We're making you sit through that. So I thought, and it wasn't, the interactive world wasn't nearly as good. I didn't think it was as good laid out or constructed, but I also don't think there was anything as good as the Batman trailer last Fandom. So yeah,
As far as the Truth 31 says, "Hey Travis and Fanboy Clay, hope you guys are doing well. We are
right
having
back at you, sir.
fun conversations tonight. Trust me. Um, th- you know, I I totally agree in the sense of it being a quote unquote slog. Um, I said this if you want to get my like first reactions to everything. We did have a pretty long conversation over there during or right after Fandom with the Geekverse guys.
It's up
Um
on the GUA feed too, I think, as well.
yes
So
it is. Yes it is. Um but I said, and it's really hard. It's really hard because I've also heard other people's reactions to, how slow some of this was, or how much was quote unquote not needed and things like that. Now, some of the stuff I was also saying, the panels, some of them went a little too long. Um, I feel like, yeah, you can have like, well, I say you can have, but it's not necessarily something I want. These celebrities and hosts and everything. I'm and people can say whatever they want to say to what I'm about to say, but I remember watching the Disney Investors Day last year on my phone at work, and it was boom, 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 one hit after the other, one announcement after the other, and it flowed so quickly. And there was only what, maybe 3 or 4 people you actually saw on screen before you saw like the trailer for this or the announcement for this. This, I just felt like it was way too much. There's way too many people. Um, the panels, I said one of the big things for the panels is if I go to a convention pre-COVID, and post-COVID, I'm going to an in-person panel for the chance to be able to interact with that panel, whether it be for a game, because I know panels play games sometimes, or ask questions. These panels on Fandom, I'm not saying anything. I'm not getting the chance to interact with a Dwayne the Rock Johnson or a Tiffany Smith being the host or Jim Lee or any of them.
was she the host? Because I
Uh,
only saw her at the start and then barely got to see her anymore, and I
I mean,
was excited.
she Tiffany Smith was in the beginning. She hosted the Smallville one. She talked to Jim Lee whenever he was talking about the Superman stuff, as well as his like whole collage for the Crisis thing, which I think is a tease to something a little bit more, something that is very, very confusing to a lot of people. But she was one of the hosts. I will say that, one of the hosts, because they did the exact same thing that they did last year with getting other hosts from different parts of the country, or sorry, different parts of the world, to host different parts of this fandom. Frank says, I give Fandom props for actually promoting comics. Yes, but the one thing is, when they were promoting comics, they were just like, oh, I'm going to throw this in here and I'm going to throw that here. I'm going to throw this in between the two trailers and this with the CW stuff. I know that it is a risk, but you need to streamline these categories together. All the comic stuff need to be together. All the TV stuff need to be together. All the HBO Max stuff needs to be together. All the movie stuff needs to be together. All the video game stuff needs to be together. Because you throwing it around like that, yeah, you're like dangling the dollar bill and saying, "Oh, you want it? You got to stay a little bit longer. Oh, you want it? You got to stay a little bit longer."
They didn't
Because
even do that last year, which was really surprising. They just here are the times from 4 to 4:20
And you
from.
know what? They probably saw the analytics to the viewership of their stream and they're like, whoa, this is kind of all over the place. Nobody's really watching this or nobody's really watching that. And that's the risk you have to take.
But then if you look at the chatter during Fandom, I bet you got a lot of complaints about
Oh,
when is this
100%.
happening.
And guys over the Geekverse can be a witness to this as well. We've done a whole bunch of stuff for like video game streams and everything else. There's always going to be people that talk crap on the chat. That's always going to happen.
Manuel, I just want to say too, I prefaced that right at the start. Like, I didn't want to complain because we did get a lot of really good content. It's just the way that it was laid out was not as good as last year, and we were just surprised
Wait, so
because
he
of how
says it's
successful it was.
it was interesting, lots of content, better a lot than nothing. It's the year we're living, thank God for it. Like I understand that, but like I was saying, you have to take the risk in saying, "Hey, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people there comparatively, there's not going to be a lot of people watching the Supergirl stream or panel than the Matt Reeves Batman panel. You know, you have to know this, and to think that you're saying, "Oh, well, you know what? We're not going to tell anybody any of these things, so that way they have to stay." In regards to, oh, people will have FOMO and they'll be afraid to jump off stream because they'll miss something, and that's the best thing that you want to do.
Well, Clay, a couple times they had coming up, and the Batman was there, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't anywhere near coming up.
No, it wasn't, and that's again. It's like,
You
oh,
greasy,
here's
greasy, greasy,
here it
greasy.
is, here it is, or maybe not. Oh, guys, we totally forgot. It's not this panel; it's the next panel. Oh, you know what? It says after this phase of panels. So hold on, hold on. Oh wait, it wasn't even after that. Oh, I think we're getting word that it may be last, but not sure. So you have to watch it just in case.
Also,
Like,
the China plant panel for the Flash was 100 times better than what we
yes,
got.
yes,
There's
and
so much with
so
the director talking about his vision and
one
what
of
he
the
thought of the
one
film.
of the
Kind of comes
questions
something to give away. Yeah, that'll be tied in with Titans, but
one of the questions says, any thoughts on why China got the better different panels from the rest of us? So it's very simple, John. That is from John Hazelton. It's very simple. That question is because WB are idiots. Like just like it's
we almost made
it's
it 20 minutes, folks. We almost made it 20 minutes without
so
them getting called idiots.
it's a super simple answer. As Pub says, it's like a game awards where big announcement up next. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. As Bubs, I know that you're there in the chat with Travis and Taylor and Kirkland usually talking about all that gaming stuff. That's exactly what happens at Game Awards.
When
Uh,
Flula Borg came out for the third time, I was just like, "Are you kidding me? I can't sit through any more of this." Like, just him, it just really annoyed me.
oh wait, so Frank says. Disagree. They force viewers to pay attention to everything. That's a good thing. Comics and other shows that weren't on your radar, you watched. Frank, I understand the sentiment. I totally do. But let's say, oh, I just heard that a Supergirl show is on its last season. You may be the kind of person that is like Chris. We were just talking about the cancellation of Why the Last Man. He said, "Oh, cool, so I don't have to finish it." Some people may be like that. Oh, wait, there was a Supergirl show and it's already being canceled. Well, I guess I don't even have to start it. Cool. Okay. There's going to be like, I understand. I was very excited that Milestone got a panel in Fandom. I think that was very, very
Oh,
important.
it was fantastic. I talked a
I
lot
think,
about that.
I think that the initiative that they're creating for more the more of the Black community to be in writing for DC or
And they have an
anywhere.
animated wing too now, Clay. They're good because
Yeah,
they're
I
putting
think
together some
it's
animated properties.
I think that's very, very nice, and that's awesome. That is very important, Frank. I will agree with you on that. But I do think that you need like again. No, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and answer Chris's question. Chris's question came to us in the GUA chat because I saw a fan made poster with Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, and it said Spider-Man and the Master of Kung Fu. This is in relation to, there was a story in Marvel Comics that Spider-Man lost his spider sense and couldn't really like depend on it anymore. So he had to learn how to fight and all of this. Of course, Shang-Chi showed him the spider style of Kung Fu. That would be awesome if that were to happen in live action. Like it would genuinely be really, really cool. Now, I don't think it would happen so soon because Peter Parker in the MCU just learned about his Peter Tingle, things like that.
I was
So
wondering if that was actually going to happen. Brent says, I log in and you're talking about Spotter Island when he learned Kung Fu. Yes,
yeah,
Brent, I'm here
yes.
like, we got
So
fandom and Clay's telling the
so well,
Spider-Man story.
the reason why
Yeah.
I'm telling that story because when I saw the poster, I posted it in the GUA chat and I said, with everything going on with Sony and Marvel right now, if the relationship between Sony and Marvel is the way it is and we get this movie, then I'm all for it. And so Chris was like, "Oh, well, what wouldn't make you say that for a DC property?" It's very simple, Chris. WB needs to sell DC to Apple. That's
Oh
what needs to
my.
happen.
Well,
That's
then you'll never be happy again. That's what we're going to be
probably
at,
not.
man.
Probably not. But that's what
And
needs to happen.
and Brent, that'll be at the end of the episode when we bag on Titans. So yeah.
I
We're
Britt,
talking
I don't.
about some fun stuff first.
We're trying
And
to.
Isbub said if Flula showed up so many times, they should have announced a Javelin show. I thought that's what we were going to get to at some point.
And he kind of joked around about it. He joked around like, "Oh, Javelin's really alive." I don't think that's really a thing. I think that he just made the joke for fandom or whatever. But people were expecting it. People were like, "Oh shit, Javelin's gonna be probably in Peacemaker or whatever." Um, but I will continue to say they need to streamline it. They need to make categories because if you are a fan of, let's say, HBO Max, and you're liking all the shows on HBO Max, and let's say it goes right into, the CW goes right into HBO Max. Maybe you're somebody who really loves the CW shows, and then they're like, "Oh, stay a while for our HBO Max shows," and you're like, "Okay, well, I'm not a really big fan, but maybe I'll stick around if it's good enough content." People will stick around for other panels. They just will. Like that's just something like I know there's people that are like, "Oh no, I'm here for this and this only and I'm out." Yes, there are a slew of fans that will do any of these things that I'm saying. But saying that you're just going to keep it randomized and not have any kind of organization to it and say that that's good so that way people can see the random content, it doesn't give as much love because you're
It's
not paying attention to it.
disrespectful to the viewer's time at all.
Well,
You're
I think
assuming that every single second of it, they're going to like every single piece of your DC content. And that's just not.
I think
I don't know.
I think it's more disrespectful to the panels that are going into the time allotted to what they were supposed to be. Like that's another thing.
I think it's just across the board, but it's
Yeah.
just a schedule. How do you go from not having schedule to having schedule to not having schedule makes no sense to me.
Frank says without COVID, this fandom would have been bonkers, but I disagree.
But I digress.
Digress. I still question whether fandom will be a like actual convention type thing, or if they will keep it to be online only. That'll be very
That's
interesting in the
really
future.
interesting going forward. I guess we'll take our ad break and get into some good content, some positive talking about some good things. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume, so I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be back shortly in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Clay. The Batman trailer. The trailer of Fandom, the one that made everyone stick around for 4 whole hours. It felt like 3 of them were Flula Borg. Obviously, I'm kidding. But what did you think about this trailer overall?
This trailer was bonkers. It was. I'm a little disappointed that it kind of stuck with the same song for the same music that they did with the first one. A little bit of a letdown as far as that, but I know it still stuck with the tone of everything else. So I'm, not super beat down on that. With this trailer though, we see a little bit more fighting. We see the craziness of the, I guess, bulletproof bat suit because he goes all daredevil and completely goes into a hallway and just kicks ass, which I thought was absolutely amazing. And I think there's really two scenes, or yeah, two scenes in this trailer that got me like, oh shit, There's one where he is falling down while something is exploding. You see the cape really kind of flow that way. And then maybe it's just capes. Maybe I just love capes, because the second scene is when he crashes the Penguin's car, and you see the perspective of Penguin upside down, and he's walking away from the explosion. Batman is, and you see the cape all fluttery. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But I'm really excited about this. Super excited.
Saying this was the highlight of fandom for me and Clay. The hallway scene, the dark hallway, the same cinematographer that was on Rogue One is doing this movie. And it makes sense for that hallway. It gave me hallway scene vibes from Rogue One with Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
saw a lot of people posting the
Side by side.
similarities.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just love that. I love the bulletproofness of the vest. There was a couple times uh, we had some great action scenes. At one point, he punches somebody, and I've read a lot of people saying like, "Oh, he must like the guy got electrocuted on the side." It seems like he got the gauntlets from one of the Batman games that are that you can shock people with as well. So that would be interesting for me to see. There was so much uh, like theories, little things, just so much about Riddler at the start too. That makes me think that he's just allowing himself to be caught in all of these, allowing himself to be caught in all these crimes are going to be committed while he's still in jail, and Batman can't do anything about it. So that's something I don't know. I got so many different possibilities just from this trailer, and like you said, those shots that you said were great when he's walking up on Penguin at the end and it changes. And I will say one thing about the music, I really enjoyed it. The score, I felt like it built and built and built and built to this crescendo at the end. And I thought it was perfect for the trailer. Like every moment made it a little bit more tense. And how about Catwoman? Like amazing.
You got like really, like, for me, I got Alias vibes, with the different wigs and everything. It was really really fun seeing her. I still don't think we're gonna be seeing a Catwoman costume at all in this movie. Maybe something for a spin-off movie
I feel like we
or
might at
in the
the end.
sequel. Maybe. I feel like, and I know people like Brent. He says tasers. He definitely used tasers, but I know a lot of people don't like when the last shot is in trailers or whatever. I think the moment where you see Selena and Bruce in that like abandoned building or whatever, I think that's near the end, and it still looks like she has her like biker outfit. So I don't know. I don't think we will see, unless Reeves does like the post credit scene type thing and
I
we see
don't
her in
think
it.
it is. The one thing that was refreshing, and I am a big fan of all the MCU movies, but there was no in after trailer funny scene. Like it's in almost every trailer now. After the trailer ends, there's a little after end credits thing of some funny scene. It's not just Marvel. I've seen it in a lot of DC movies as well,
Oh, I
and not just like we got it in Shang Chi. After it was over, we had a funny scene that some
well,
people didn't
yeah,
think was it.
but
We
I
get that.
I
We get
think
that almost
that's
all the
a
time.
I thought that was more of like a Marvel formulaic
No, I've seen it
type
in DC
trailer
movies as
breakdown.
well, but
Oh,
it just was cool for me just in terms of comic books. But uh, I there's some of these villains, Clay Falcone. There was a scene where you get a shot of him walking hand in hand with Catwoman,
Catwoman, yeah.
Selena. The Batmobile. I thought I wasn't going to be as big of a fan of the Batmobile, but my goodness, with
I want to
just
see it a little bit more in action. I know that we got to see the backside of it, and we got to see like the shape of the bat at the back end of it, and then the whole thing with him crashing into Penguin's car. Manuel says the first part where they arrest the Riddler and the diner says it all. Arkham Knight vibes and lots of shots, which reminds me of the comics. I really do like the cinematography in this movie. I like the sepia type colors to it, the browns, the yellows, which is very different from the usual like blues and grays that we usually get for a Batman movie. Really dug this. Um, Frank says I'm down for a Penguin HBO Max show now. I see the appeal. I still want to see the movie to get me really hyped up for that show.
See,
Brent says Batman isn't exactly known for his jokes, so there shouldn't have been commenting on what you had said. For
yeah, but the post
Yeah.
after trailer, and S Bob said the same thing. I'm dressed like a bat. Dressed like a bat. I dig it. Was at the end of the Justice League trailer in 2017. Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a few. Same thing as Shazam. Shazam's had a couple, but Brandon is right. It's Batman. It's just I don't know. I was in a good. It was really just a good atmosphere that entire trailer. I was so enveloped. Some of the shots, like Batman fighting a guy with a baseball bat, that was hilarious to me. Some of the action when he's just punching so ruthless. Like when you see Selena look over at him and see him in his ground and pound stance, like she is horrified. She's shocked, and that's
Yeah,
something
the
that's
face that she makes when he's like beating the shit out of that guy, that was fun.
and we don't know if that could be after. That could be the reason that they like go off fork into different paths. That could be the reason why she doesn't stay. There's so many different things to me. The one thing I will say that I thought about after watching this was, could you imagine if you don't see or hear or tell of anything about Joker in this movie, and Joaquin Phoenix actually shows up for the?
You need to stop.
I'm just joking. I thought
You
if
need
you
to
say
stop.
that somewhere,
No,
Snell would
well,
like just jump in happiness.
no. See, and I was gonna elaborate more on this because I did comment on it in our GUA.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
the idea of because somebody said, "Oh, if this happens, I can't wait for it to happen," or something. I can't remember exactly what I said in regards to this. They said when they meet, and they said it's like greatest thing ever or whatever. Um, the problem that I have with the sentiment of like, oh, because they're in the same like black label, they have to connect.
They
This is
don't
the
have to
same.
connect. That's so
Well,
stupid.
that's what people's mentalities are. Same thing with, oh, well, because Joker was so good, it needed a sequel. Like it doesn't need a sequel. They just decided to make one. It's these people's way of thinking for these movies. And unfortunately, I think that like WB did this all to themselves.
Well, I will say one thing about the Joker thing, Clay. The success warranted a sequel, but the story did not, in my opinion. I will say that
Mm,
so you put in you pay 50 million for a movie and you make that much money, the success warrants a sequel, but the story does not. That story wrapped up perfectly where there's so many different possibilities in your own head what it could have been and what way it could have been. I thought that the story wrapped up where I didn't need another one. But when they made as much money as they made, I didn't think it mattered who wrote what kind of tweet requesting it. I figured that when they saw that money, they were going to go, we got to bleed this well as dry as humanly possible to the point where when we put that a third or fourth movie, this will fail. We'll have a different actor and everything, and it'll fail. Joker
Joker
Cinematic
Cinematic
Universe.
Joker 2 is actually Batman versus Joker. I hope not, S Bubs.
No, I don't think they'll cross over, Clay. I just
No,
don't think it makes
because it
any
just
sense.
doesn't make sense.
That Joker doesn't make sense. Like I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to really make him sound that bad, but like just a generic boxer, an amateur boxer who's just working on his skills could beat up this Joker. Like
Well, no, not just that. Like it story wise doesn't work. Like, and people are like, "Oh, the multiverse! They've already connected everything." So Robert Pattinson's world is
no,
actually like
no,
intertwined within the Joker's already because of what happened at Crisis on Infinite Earths on CW. It all makes sense.
no. Well, those people are foolish. I just thought that I'll be interested. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather see who Matt Reeves is going to cast as Batman because Riddler looks like somebody that's going to be very formal. I think this is going to be a pretty
You mean the
cool
Joker
take.
because you said who Matt Reeves cast as
We'll
the
pick.
Batman.
Yeah, and because of what he's showing me here with Riddler, I think if he casts a Joker in the second movie, it will be
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Like
I hope we
insane.
don't see the Joker.
Oh, I don't want to see this Joker at all in
I
this
I
movie,
I know
but
it's
I'd like to see
inevitable.
him
I know it's
at some
inevitable
point.
because people are like, "Oh, there can't be a Batman without Joker," and it's just
That's not
we
how I see it. All I see is if Matt Reeves wants to give us his take on the character, I'd like to see it. But if you got a story that does, if you got a 3-movie story that does involve Joker, completely fine. You'll get no complaints from me at all. But if he, I would be curious to see what his Joker, the things like that he would take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that, and who he would cast. There's just so many things. But even this, like I said, the action's fantastic. We got very good dynamic between Bruce and Selena, and we got some very solid Alfred one-liners that are not really one-liners; they're more advice, or you're going down a wrong path. But I still like the look of this Alfred and Andy Serkis.
Yeah, the way Andy Serkis's Alfred is going to be reminds me a little bit more of Batman Earth 1 rather than the Alfred that we all know and love. That I'm sure he will have those kind of shoot. Who was the freaking Alfred
you're
in
thinking of
Batman
that.
Begins?
Well, you're thinking that. Did you notice Michael Caine was Alfred in Batman Begins?
Michael Caine, yeah. You know, his quips and everything. I'm sure we will get a quippy Alfred from this movie maybe once or twice, but I think it'll be more of like the hardcore, hey, if you want to be a warrior for Gotham, I'm gonna have to train you, or I'm gonna have to stand with you, kind of thing.
I think it'd be more Jeremy Irons than it will be Michael Caine. Like more hands-on, more.
But even Jeremy Irons was quippy.
Yeah, it's not going to be as quippy. Yeah, you're right. And one other thing I thought when you mentioned the Earth One Batman book, when he goes into that hangar, that reminded me of a shot from the Earth One book where his base of operations were.
Yeah,
it was the old subway station for his parents or for his grandparents, or old subway station they potentially could have made or something, but they shut it down. But that's what that. There was a couple cool shots like that, and I'm just excited for this movie, Clay. I can't wait for it. This trailer gave me anything and everything I wanted, and stuff I didn't think. And there was one other cool shot I want to talk about, which was him putting on the bat glider, and we got at the tease last year, we got him shooting up the grappling hook, going up that high, like whatever
tower
steps,
or stairwell
buildings,
or whatever. Yeah.
And then we get the cops chasing him in this scene, and them trying to grab on. We get the back view of them trying to grab on, and he glides down. It's such a cool.
And we get like a really quick, like between the buildings type of shot. It happens super fast, so you can't really see him. That'll be a really fun shot as well.
And Ispub says is in the movie it's an abandoned Wayne subway station, which I think it is the same thing in the comic as well as the Earth One Batman comic.
So with that, let's go ahead and move on to another Batman related movie, being Batman versus the Flash. So I will just say, besides the panel, the intro to this trailer was Ezra saying, hey, we don't have any footage for you guys, but they would kill me if we didn't share anything. I still think that's complete crap. I don't care what anybody says. I understand that the Flash, like the character of the Flash, has a lot of CGI into it. But if you're going to tell me that 100% of this movie has to deal with majority CGI, and there are no scenes whatsoever that don't handle CGI, then that's a little ridiculous, because there's clearly not. And
but they're saying it's not
in
enough to give you a trailer, because the trailer needs some action spots, and they literally just finished post-production like a day or two ago.
It would have been better to just say, we screwed up, we'll go ahead and share the video that was leaked.
They didn't screw up though.
This teaser was in my opinion.
I thought this teaser was great, and it gave us a lot of questions coming from it.
I mean, what questions? I'm asking your opinion.
Is the second Barry Reverse Flash? Because there's a lot of hints for me that make me think that he might actually be Reverse Flash, and there is precedent in the comics for Reverse Flash actually literally changing his face to Barry's.
By the way,
what?
I said still a horrible idea if it actually happens.
Well, we've seen it even in the Flash season 1. He changed his face from one guy to another, and that was accepted. There was I never heard any complaints about that.
It's television. Like, it's different from movies. I don't know.
I'll call BS on that
no,
answer.
No.
It's television.
If you give me the exact same story, but instead of turning into Wells, he turns into Barry, that's stupid. If you give me the exact story from the CW and just say, "Oh, I'm not going to be this made up character," or Wells is, I don't think Wells is in the comics.
No.
I'm not a huge like Flash like freaking
Or maybe
encyclopedia, so I
or
don't know. But to say, "Oh, I'm gonna act like I'm Barry," like, no, I'm sorry,
What,
no.
Clay? This is a completely different Earth. Who's to say that? No, how is anyone else going to know how that Barry acts? Like, it's just there's so many different variables here, and
But
I
still
don't know why.
showing the, because I'm looking at it right now. I paused it, looking at the other Barry and Sasha Kaye's Supergirl nonchalantly, just like, "Oh yeah, we're here too." Like, horrible idea.
Both those things have already been shared. She's literally been shared multiple times, multiple set leaks of her in her costume. It's been shared that she's been
In
in her
a high
costume. So why
definition
haven't
teaser.
she's been? It's been all over everywhere. She was announced that she was. I'm pretty sure they gave like an actual photo of her in the suit before.
No, they have.
Uh, if they
It
didn't
was
put it out,
leaked. There was
yeah. Well,
leaked.
then why is the big deal of showing it there if it's already
Then,
leaked?
if that's the case, then they should have showed us some of the other stuff that was leaked as well.
Well, other stuff was leaked. Oh, the
She was
regular
flying.
scenes.
She was flying.
She was tied onto harnesses, Clay, because it's not all production post production. Like they haven't finished principal photography, and then they got to do post production. Like
But they
it's
were able to do enough for this Barry
she
outfit?
is she flying or anything? There's not much of anything here that's done with
Look, you hear
visual
my dog, he's
effects.
disagreeing with you.
No, he's saying, Dad, you got to
He's
stop because you're sounding like you know, Dad, calm
I'm
down
just
here.
I'm just saying the the addition of the showing the
Thank
new
you,
suit.
Frank.
Everyone and their mother knew Supergirl was in the Flash. I'm not saying that I didn't know, and I'm not saying other people didn't know, but just showing her like, "Oh, hey, I'm here too." Like seeing Supergirl for the very first time in costume and she's in the background like that is a disservice to her character.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Putting her in the movie is not oh my god, what are we doing here? Disservice to her character? Come
Yeah,
on now, Clay. Come on. She's in the movie. She wasn't even in the movie the last script. So I mean
it
like
doesn't matter. You like
if she's a strong, fantastic character, I guarantee you, I'll give you any bit of money if anyone says, besides you, the trailer was a disservice to the character. If she gets a fantastic part that's written well and branched off into her own thing, I will wait to read one comment of anyone
Frank
saying
says
that.
the less I see the better, which I agree. Supergirl and the other Flash should not have been shown.
Oh my god, we don't even know. That could be Barry from. We don't know if it's. There's so
But
many
you
different
know that it's
possibilities of what
Barry.
it is.
You know that the
Thank
same
you,
you
thank
know
you.
that the same you see the same character side by side. What did you think it was an accidental like green screen that they did on the trailer and it was a mistake?
Clay, he's
Or is that
wearing.
an actual character in the movie?
He could be. He could be Earth 2 or Earth 6 or whatever Earth
It
that
doesn't
this.
matter. He is a huge plot point to the movie. And this is a teaser trailer. You chose to
Huge plot hole. You don't know, like I said,
you
you don't know what he is, who he is. The Barry that we saw in Earth 2 of the Flash TV
all right.
show was a
I'm gonna
bumbling
remember
idiot.
this. I'm gonna remember this. And if he is any type of huge character,
I told you what I thought he was. The Reverse
yeah,
Flash, and I still don't think
exactly.
that's a big deal. I still don't think that's a big deal.
Oh, it's just the one character they haven't really confirmed or anything. They haven't even confirmed a villain. It's just all been rumor and hearsay. But it's no big deal.
Oh my
You know.
god. It's just like I sometimes I think you just want to complain about DC for sake of complaining. Like this,
No,
there's nothing done with this. No special effects. Like
there's special effects in this teaser.
there's there's a concept art. I've seen that same concept art of Barry standing up in the cave multiple times. So
But it's not concept art. It's live footage.
is it live footage? Is it CGI? Is it a couple shots that got done? Because Clay, I mean, what they just finished filming. So I want to know how fast.
Brent
do you
says
think?
I wouldn't go that far, but I actually do get what Clay is saying about Supergirl. It's the first official look at her, and she's in the background. I don't agree with the extent, but I see his point. A lot of people are saying this.
No,
You see It doesn't matter if it's her movie, if she's getting a spinoff after this or whatnot. If she's just a side character they're going to decide to kill, it doesn't matter. You're putting the S on her chest and you're just like, oh yeah, that's a person too. Like that's what you're basically saying in this teaser.
You guys, whoever looks in that really looks into trailers too much. Like
It's like if Andrew Garfield was randomly in the background of the first shot of the No Way Home trailer.
Randomly, it's three of the heroes. Three of what we're supposedly think is the heroes, and Batman walking out.
What would you rather see? Would you rather see Tobey Maguire be a badass in the very first trailer, or have a spotlight of like, "Hey, here I am," or would you just randomly like to see him just stare at you on the screen?
Tobey Maguire's had 3 movies, Clay.
It doesn't matter. It's a big part of the movie. A lot of people are excited about Supergirl in the Flash movie.
I can't. That's outrageous that you think that this is disservice to
just
Supergirl.
Because you are not excited for Supergirl in this movie.
I am excited to see her. I can't wait to see her. But spoiler, we got 6 seasons of Supergirl. Like, it's not a disservice to the character. The character's had 6 seasons of it.
Okay,
of a TV
but
show.
That is a different Supergirl.
But if we didn't get that 6 seasons of the show, we wouldn't even be getting this Supergirl here. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you keep building, you keep adding to it. Sasha Kai is going to add to Supergirl. She's going to make it her own. Her being next to 2 other berries is not going to ruin her in the long run or anything like that. If you want to say what was a disservice to your character, was letting photos get out of her in her suit without giving her a full reveal on her own. That is a disservice, yes. But just including her in the trailer to be like, this is somebody that's going to be important in the trailer. This is somebody that we're going to show a lot of. If we're just showing her in this little teaser clip, I don't think that's a disservice to the character. I don't personally, but I guess if a lot of people are saying it, then maybe it is, and maybe they might have to look at keeping her out of the next trailer. Maybe, I don't know.
As Bob says, I like the suit, but I thought this trailer sucked. I don't know how, but it showed too much and too little at the same time. It was all over the place and anticlimactic. I think, and again, we've already seen it. It's already existing. It's here. But to show the voice of Keaton, not his face, and then show 2 big plot points of the movie, I think you got it backwards. You should have seen like the back of Sasha Kaye up in the air, or seeing like a flash blur while Barry is running or something like that. Like showing them, like, because everybody knows Keaton is in the movie. Why won't they show him?
Just the same way everyone knows Toby and Andrew are in No Way Home trailer. Why won't they show them in the first one? That's not even a trailer. That's what the other thing. That's not the first trailer. But by all accounts of how big Michael Keaton is in the movie, or how many scenes he's been in it, then I assume when we get an actual official trailer, you'll get to see him. I just think that this is just a little. Here's a couple clips, couple scenes that we were able to actually throw together. That here to have a look at the new Flash suit.
Oh, you see Ben Affleck's Batman die though.
That was the Michael Keaton suit, but
was it the Michael Keaton suit? Because a lot of people were saying it, but it was moving so fast. I saw the cowl and I saw the cowl screen. And it looked more like
and his whole bat suit's there as well. Off to the right a little tiny bit, you can see his bat suit and his bat emblem in the center.
I'm scrolling. Let's see here. Oh, right here. Okay, so press play.
I'm with Frank of. I heard the voice inside the cowl. That's all I needed. And Brent says, do you guys think this movie is at risk of Ezra being overshadowed by 2 Batman and Supergirl? Seems like everyone is talking about anyone but the Flash. I think there's something to that, Brent. I think depends on how much Affleck's in it, because I think if anyone has watched JSA, the animated movie that came out, there's Flash interacts with Superman, but it's very briefly, and he's thrust it into the whole events of the movie. I think that's the exact similar way this is going to happen with Affleck.
And the problem is, Brent, I will go ahead and say this. This is a Flash movie, but I still 100% believe that they only made this movie to try and, actually reboot the DCEU. I think it's whether it's a hard reboot or a soft reboot, that's up to be seen until the movie ends. But I still think this movie isn't about the Flash. This movie is about changing the way we now perceive DCEU content afterward.
I will say there's going to be a hard lesson of you can't change even that power. If you could change things, is like it might change other things for the worse. Like he got to learn that lesson about going back in time and everything having consequences. Like all actions having consequences. So it's going to be pretty
It's
powerful
so funny.
lesson, especially when he has
I
to
will
like
say this. I
let
think
his
it's so
mom die.
funny.
It's going to be
I
such a powerful scene.
I think it's so funny that they have to tell that story over and over again in live action when it's not even a story in the comics. Like it changes the universe and they change the universe. They're like, okay, this is it. Like we fucked up, but we're gonna live on. Like in all of these other, whether it be this live action movie or the Flash TV show, it's like, oh, we always have to talk about consequences of time travel. It's just like it's not that big of a deal in comics. Like
It depends on whatever like whatever property. I've seen it be a big deal, seen it not be a big deal. Even in movies like Butterfly Effect, there's so many different. The Simpsons did it, where Homer just crushed a leaf by the end of it, and everything changed. Donuts were falling from the sky. So I'll be interested if see how many different Earths he go to. Clay, that's one thing. Is he going to interact with C.W. Barry because we got that scene?
there's still rumors, and I guess it was confirmed, but it hasn't been confirmed. And that's another thing. We will go into another ad break right after this, but I just want to say this. The fact that WB thinks that the trades are a better source of news than their very own DC fandom with millions of viewers is absolutely stupid. 100% stupid. Like, I don't care what kind of subscription you have to the New York Times, to Newsarama, to Variety, to whoever. When you have millions of viewers on your YouTube channel
Was
watching
this
what?
what did they not give update for?
They announced the confirmation of Gordon, J.K. Simmons being the Gordon of Batgirl, and then they just announced that somebody is going to be playing a villain role, or yeah, they're going to be playing a villain role in Batgirl.
Well,
Jacob.
the only thing I will say is maybe they didn't get officially the contracts didn't get officially done until after fandom
mm,
panel. That Clay, that is a possibility. If with Batgirl not even actually filming yet, that is a possibility. Yeah, I'm sorry. If
I
Batgirl is filming, I'd agree with you 100%. But Batgirl is not filming now; it's not
but they
started
are
yet.
filming.
No, they're not.
They're in freaking.
They're in pre-production right now.
No, didn't they go to freaking what was the same place that the Flash
Yeah,
and the
they're
Batman
getting
were?
things ready, but they haven't started shooting yet. So that's why I can
Oh, I thought
understand
they
still
had
bring
already.
stick
I thought
that's
that was like the big
maybe they have, could be wrong.
because I'm pretty sure we covered that already on DC
I
Alliance.
thought we covered that they were going there and they put out the thing. I didn't
Oh,
see any because she said she's been training right now in her you know in her interview and she said she's gonna
yeah,
have red hair. So that's
yeah.
a cool thing as
But
well.
I just think that DC fandom should be a place for announcements.
Oh,
Like
you're 100% right.
for them to act. And I will say this: I had a conversation with. I know some people are very iffy about him. He can surely be an asshole sometimes, but we can all be assholes. Casey Walsh and I had a very brief conversation on Twitter, and he was very much in the realm of like because he has Geeks Worldwide, he is a trade himself. He wants this information, so he's going to be on the side of the trades, saying, "Oh, WB doesn't do that. They want the trades to talk about all of this." But it's I think it's very very dumb to have such a large event and be like official announcements are not really our thing. We're gonna just show trailer. Like, yeah, it's fun to see trailers, but I think you would get even more hype once you get announcements like that. Brent says, not knowing how long ago the fandom segments were recorded makes it very possible those deals were not done in time, so they held it until after fandom on purpose.
That's what I was
I don't
thinking
know.
too, Brent, because some of these have clearly were recorded, some of these panels.
Oh, I
Uh,
think they were all pre-recorded.
yeah, well,
I
I just
think
meant like the time. We don't know. Like, could have been 2 months ago that some of these panels
there
were.
there was I know we didn't cover it on DC Alliance because it was practically nothing, but there was photos of both Reeves and Pattinson on the DC or not DC, but the WB lots like a couple months ago. and people were thinking, oh, they're filming uh their fandom stuff, but then we saw them not all in the same room, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought Phantom could have been laid out a bit better. And you're right about it all depends on, like Brent said, with how it was recorded. I don't know if you could slap it on there, but even then, maybe you're just holding it. Uh, I'm excited for the news. That's one thing. I'm excited for Gordon to be in
Yeah,
that.
like the more news we get on these projects, I'm excited about it. But I think like you want to. I guess this is in the same way riding the wave of the hype, because it was just 2 days ago. So you're kind of still, people are still talking about the trailer. For how much longer, who knows? But I mean,
Until for another few days until the No Way Home next trailer comes
I
out.
know next week,
Which
next Monday.
smart move if
Yeah,
you're in
for
to hold
sure.
it. And
You
for
know
us
that
that love everything, I can't wait for it.
it's
You
a
want to
thing.
take another ad break before we jump into Black Adam play?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that ad break right now. Of course, we don't choose the ads. We don't choose how many times the ad repeats, if it does, and we don't choose the volume on these ads. So we do apologize for all of that in advance, but we will be back in just 1 second. And we are back. So we talked about Batman. We talked about Batman 2.0. Let's talk about some Black Adam. Black Adam
Sorry, I had
opened.
to laugh a little extra there. You slipped it in very effortlessly too, I might add. That was pretty impressive.
Black Adam actually opened us up at DC Fandom. I think this was a very smart idea, because this poor soul has been trying to be Black Adam for like 300 years.
The hierarchy of power is about to change.
I'm surprised he only said it twice. We only heard it twice.
Open it in this segment like
I was really, really hoping to see some like memes of like the drunken people that actually tried to play that stupid drinking game of him saying it, and they wouldn't have even gotten a buzz from it.
F Bob says Dwayne the hierarchy of in the DC power of
Universe
DC. Oh my
change.
God.
No, like I was kind of surprised that he only said it twice.
Later, Brent.
Now I think there is actually another panel with either a panel or a trade dropped a interview with Dwayne the Rock Johnson talking a little bit more about his character. And he actually like threw some shots at Superman. This is something that he's already been doing, but people just wanted to make sure.
I don't
Hey,
think
by
he
the
quite
way,
understands Superman too. Someone let him know.
yeah, it's
Kryptonite is not his weakness. Magic is. No, magic. He's
vulnerable to
to
magic.
magic,
Yes,
but
but
Kryptonite straight up kills him there, dog.
I will tell you this. I will 100% tell you this. If, by the way, none of our predictions came true. I thought mine was, and then it was confirmed today that it's not even in the works. My Smallville one. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna come true, and nothing happened from it. But
We're going to pitch DC. How do you even get a story out of that? Like, who owes you money?
who knows? But this whole thing, I will say this, and then we will talk about the first look that we got from Black Adam. If they bring Henry Cavill to come into a Black Adam movie just to get his ass beat, because Black Adam, aka Dwayne the Rock Johnson, has contracts in every movie that he cannot lose a fight, it is like Henry should not sign that contract. He should not be in that movie.
Oh,
Like,
he would. I don't think he's that stupid. Like, I don't. The Rock. I mean, I don't think he's that stupid to realize like I can't make myself look better than Superman. Now he would probably have a very hard
100%.
fight.
What are you talking? This is Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Okay,
He
are you
will put.
Tim? Your team Vin Diesel. It sounds like.
No, I am. I'm not team Fast Five at all. Those movies are stupid.
Vin Diesel used to get a wooden box placed wherever he was standing with the Rock.
I am team Superman. That's what I'm team.
Oh yeah,
Dwayne the Rock Johnson is team Dwayne the Rock Johnson. He doesn't care what relationships he has. It's if he's the star of the show, he's the star of the show. Like he's gotten that since he was wrestling. Like that's just who he is. And I think that if he has the chance to beat Superman's ass and be the badass on film, he's gonna do it. And I think that's a really stupid idea. If
I don't think
Henry Cavill
story
comes,
wise he's going to do that. He might get some good. He might get some good fighting in Superman, but I don't see him like literally beating Superman.
oh, I think he wants to do that. I think he wants to do that exact thing. But I will say this first look, because they surprised us with not only like a behind the scenes, like everybody kind of talking about the general idea of what this movie's about and like how fun it was
Wait, Clay,
filming.
You mean all the other cast getting 5 to 7 seconds to tack, and then the Rock tacking for the rest?
Oh, yeah. Again, because if Dwayne the Rock Johnson can be the star of the show, he will be. Like that is just who he
You,
is.
you
Like
gotta like a little bit for
he's like, oh,
bullying.
Bond,
You gotta
screw
like him
you.
a little
Oh, a
bit for
black dude,
bullying Kevin
screw you.
Hart.
Like,
You gotta
you
like
know,
him a little bit for bullying Kevin Hart.
I don't care at all.
Okay,
Like
I just tried. I tried, listeners.
no,
He
no,
just hates
because
the Rock.
I will even say this. I will even say this. The fact that they did not show a trailer for Super Pets and decided to go, oh, wait in a month, we'll have a trailer. That was stupid.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was
Yeah.
stupid. It was a waste of time. You shouldn't
Well,
have
we got
even
a
showed the panel
little teaser clip thing.
of them peeing.
Yeah, you don't think it's going to be a lot of that kind of humor in that movie? Come on, now.
Oh, have you seen Hotel for Dogs or whatever
No,
the animated movie is with Kevin Hart? That's exactly what that movie is.
no.
But
Hard pass.
I was really surprised when Dwayne the Rock Johnson says, "Hey, we're gonna show you the opening scene of the movie." Well, part of the opening scene.
Yeah.
Holy crap! This is the best Mortal Kombat movie I have ever seen.
Oh my God! Like the shade from this is fantastic.
Shit!
This is
The
amazing
fact.
shot.
So the archaeological like team that is there, they're like looking at all this stuff. By the way, the crown that is floating up in the air, that is actually Black Adam's crown
Yeah.
in the comics and everything. She is reading all this stuff on the floor. She says Shazam. He comes down. They're all shooting at him. He catches a bullet Superman style and then grabs this dude's neck and completely freaking Raiden's
Yeah.
his
Lord
ass.
Raiden's him.
Dude, it was so good. Like
Yes, and the cinematography was fantastic.
the
Like,
one
the shots,
one
the
thing
visuals.
the one thing that I didn't like about it, and of course it wouldn't be me without some
Of
negativity.
course.
His suit, whenever they were shooting at him, it looked and sounded too much like metal hitting metal. Like it didn't sound like it was just like canceling out the bullets. It literally sounded like they were shooting metal, and I'm just like,
Like
don't know.
Shazam, not like like it should be more like Shazam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I was
I
just like,
agree. I
"Man."
agree. I kind of thought it was it kind of seemed like a more of like an injustice-y suit, like the
Like
video game
armor,
style.
like
Yeah, like
armor. Yeah.
armor. Yeah.
Yeah. And we know from because there was also leaks of the suits before the freaking fandom the night
I
before.
didn't see it.
I did. I was so pissed. I will say, in actual post and like what the movie looks like, the suit looks good.
Suit looks
But
fantastic.
looking at the suit at raw footage,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, but I don't even know how that suit would look at him. You know what I mean? Like the way that with normal other people, like that dude is
And
like a upside down Dorito.
and I think the suit is a mix
Yeah.
between practical and CGI, because we did see some black and white photos of people drawing dots on his suit and on his body and everything else. I do think that there is going to be a mix of the two.
As long as he looks good, like you said, in the actual like scene, that's all I care about. Because like you look at Mark Ruffalo, he's running around in a pajama suit, and you get the whole. I know it's different, obviously, but we're not expecting Dwayne Johnson to come out. Actually, I'm going to calm that down because, of course, he would come out to do a panel dressed in the Black Adam suit. I could see that happening. I gotta calm down here.
Yeah.
I predict that he wouldn't
Well,
do
I
that.
will say this. Frank brought up something that I was kind of worried about in watching this first look. Frank says, love that The Rock didn't talk. I am actually really scared that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to try to give Black Adam an accent.
Oh, I don't see him doing that. I hope not. I hope not.
because
Maybe a little
the
one. I think he might deserve one, but it just
the Rock has charisma. He has the body. He has the stoicness of what a Black Adam needs. He doesn't need like the Rock cannot like
I've never
he's
heard him. I've never heard him use an accent, to be honest with you.
exactly, and that's the
So
thing.
that's
Like
why, yeah, that's what will
don't
worry you.
try to do something you know you can't do,
Well,
kind of thing.
maybe you get dialect coach or whatever, but
Yes, yes, yes. But
I
from the
don't. Yeah, what
performances that we
you're
have
saying.
seen Rock
Yeah,
in,
that's what you're saying. Your point
he's
there. If we've never seen him do it before,
he's not he's not an Oscar winning actor.
and if he's
Okay.
never done it before, maybe not do it in this big pivotal. Maybe that may start off a franchise for you and make you like, yeah, maybe a whole, yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But still,
So
look really cool. Like, look super solid there. Like,
yeah.
I was surprised at the quality.
Yeah. 100%.
Fantastic.
I really, really enjoyed it. Um
Next up is
I'm
Shazam.
really looking
Clay.
forward to that movie. Yeah, but Shazam, Fury of the Gods, there was no real footage
We got
here.
like a little bit of behind the scenes of them, a minute 48 of them just showing a couple scenes within the movie, like Freddy talking to this girl about, here's where you hang out with your superhero friends,
Yeah, like
and
just
just
small
him
stuff
dealing.
like that. More so, we got more so of the behind the scenes stuff, like Suicide Squad did last year, kind of
Yeah,
like that. I really dig the upgrade to the suits.
same,
The still
same.
photo was really nice. We got a good look at everybody, but seeing them in motion,
Seeing him walk
um,
around, Zachary Levi, especially because there's a lot
yeah,
of muscles to his last one.
yeah,
No, that with this one is great.
seeing everybody like super excited on set also made me happy.
Also, Helen Mirren and
And
Lucy
Lucy
Liu.
Liu, awesome. Like I'm really
Super.
excited to see how and we did see a little bit of footage there. I think they're in some sort of museum. I'm guessing that is when they first arrive on Earth or
Yeah,
something,
and they come
probably.
to take whatever they want to take.
Yeah, yeah. Really looking forward to this movie as well. There's not much to say about this behind
No,
the scenes
there's
stuff.
these next couple. There's not going to be much to say, but also I just want to say I hope we get a showdown with Shazam and Black Adam in the future, like a Shazam 3 type deal. Please tease him at the end of that.
Do you think it's going to be teased at the end of Black Adam, or do you think it's going to be teased at the end of Shazam?
Maybe both. Maybe both.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe both. But I don't know. I
So
hope so.
so Shazam, I believe, opened us up with the date of July.
I know Shazam comes after.
Black Adam. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was July 29th, I think, somewhere around there of 2022. And then of course Shazam will be later on in the year. I hope that we get some sort of tease. Like maybe if it's for Black Adam, maybe it's like him like watching over Shazam or something. Like just like knowing like, hey, I know you exist type of thing. And then the confrontation happens at the end of Shazam. I think that would be kind of cool. Frank says my prediction is Black Adam will kill at least one of the Shazam kids. Oh no, don't say that,
Ooh.
Frank.
That'd be pretty cool though, Frank.
No.
That'd be really interesting. I would hope they go there, but who knows?
Don't kill
Oh,
the family.
oh, if Rock is going after family hard now.
Ooh.
Don't say family around him. Oh God, the whole faster film. Oh man, that's not good. So Clay, Aquaman 2 didn't show us a whole lot there as well. We got, like I said, a little behind the scenes of them starting back up, but we did get a pretty awesome shot of Black Manta. What'd you think
Yes,
about
we
that?
did, which actually didn't come until later.
No, Creepy Puppet shared it. We got one cool one of him sitting at the console that was from
Yes,
the
yes.
little bit, which is just James Wan wanted to release something else, and it is amazing. He's holding uh one trident and one spear, and he
Yeah.
just like
But
I've
this
seen before. It's just the costume what you would think would be ridiculous to put on live action, but it just works. I don't know how to play, but it just
it
works.
looks so good. It honestly
I'm just
does.
shocked every time I see it. I'm just like, how did you make this look so cool?
But just because I keep seeing it a lot on TikTok, I'm sorry for all of you that are going to be very disappointed when watching Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. But Amber Heard is still employed in this movie.
Yeah,
I see so many people that think she's already in jail for some reason. It's very, very odd. But
Saw a lot of
seeing
that in SBub said Mira confirmed to
Confirmed to
die
die
in
in
Aquaman
Aquaman
2.
2.
I'm expecting these YouTube titles. Saw a lot of that in the comments, like die Mira, die Amber Heard, die in the comments and stuff.
Snell already thinks that she will die very early on in the movie. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't
I
think so.
I think that if they want to make this movie like she isn't like the soul of Aquaman like at
No.
all, but I think it would be very fun to go into, I'm going to say the word again, family of Aquaman. Having Aquaman's children, hopefully, in the future or anything.
And
Uh,
Orm taking prisoner of one and having Arthur have to cut off his arm. That's such a great storyline.
yeah,
Uh,
going into that kind of thing would be really fun to see on live action. So
mhm.
I don't think we will see the death of Mira in this movie, but we'll see. So the next one, we're going to kind of spitfire these just because we're already going a little bit longer on some of these than I thought we would,
Yeah.
but it's not a problem. We're going to go into video games right now.
Yes. Gotham Knights, Clay.
Gotham Knights, you want to go first? Okay.
Yes.
So Gotham Knights.
First, I
Um,
want to say no video game, no
no video
video
game
game
footage.
footage.
Now, that's something I will say that they did get right in the first DC fandom is that they actually said, "Hey, this is alpha footage. We're going to show
Yeah,
you like a whole segment."
but we
That is
did get to
what the
see
kind
it.
of panel that I think should be there. But this was just an elongated trailer as well as some behind the scenes footage of the director of of the game talking, as well as Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Jim Lee, and like some of the designers of the game. This still looks super fun, and
Oh, Clay, I can't wait for
I
this.
will continue to say this. I am probably going to be taking a full week off
Probably.
to play this
You're
game.
not. You're 100%. It's a
Yeah,
fact. You're doing it.
yeah,
You've said it so many
yeah.
times now that you will not allow
Abby
yourself
doesn't.
not to do it.
Abby doesn't know this, but
Okay, Abby, spoiler, he's doing it.
I will definitely do it. Now I'm still getting people that are saying like this is a 4-player game. I still believe this is only a 2-player game that can be switched off into characters. Now I do want to say the really cool thing that we did learn in this kind of behind the scenes look of this game is the fact that each character, well, each of the villains, because they took the concept of the talons and then made it a little bit more video gamey, quote unquote, in the sense of like, hey, you need to have different versions of these talons to make it a little bit more
Big
challenging in the
ones,
game.
fast ones, crazy
Exactly.
ones. Yeah.
And each one of your heroes, each one of your knights is going to be able to take advantage of some of those things that the talents can do. So it's going to be really cool to be able to team up with certain characters along the game to make it work in your advantage, which I
Yeah.
think is really, really cool to make it more in depth like that. So it's going to
Super
be a
interesting,
lot of
Clay.
fun. Um, I will say this: we are seeing a lot of Penguin. Batman trailer, Gotham Knights. We're going to see Penguin in a very hysterical part of the Suicide Squad game that we're going to be talking about just now. Um,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but overall, what are your thoughts on Gotham Knights?
I like you. I'm there day one. I'm probably going to do the same thing you're doing, which is taking all the time and finishing the game immediately after I buy it. I don't need to see gameplay because these are coming from studios that are established for me.
Well, look at what Frank says. He says, "Love how people are complaining about not seeing the gameplay when we already
You
know
know,
how the gameplay
thank
will
you, Frank.
be." Yeah,
Thank you, Frank. And we
I
saw it, like you said, we saw it last year at Fandom. Just a
I think
version of
I
it,
think
a
what
version
more
of it.
people are wanting as far as gameplay is we see the fighting style and we see the overall way of the game. I think they want to see more locations. I think they want to see more villains and things like that. But I think some of that stuff is better not seen. So when you do play the game for the very first time, you're like, oh shit, they put this guy in the game. How
Yeah. Oh,
crazy is
yeah. You
that?
don't want any reveals, but you also want to see it to make sure it's not an Avengers game. Like when we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that preview for that Avengers game, I canceled my pre-order after I played it because I didn't enjoy it at all. And I'm like, this is not the kind of game I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, like I said, like Frank said, we already know what the gameplay style is going to be and how it's going to look. So I like I said, just getting a bit more of the story and hearing Scott Snyder talk about the Court of Owls and saying how much they're pulling from it and getting right from it.
Yeah,
I'm
he's been praising this game a
yeah.
lot, so I'm looking forward
I'm in for
to
this one more than I'm in for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
really.
Yes.
Now, I think more so because we haven't seen footage for Suicide in the Justice League.
That's
We've
probably why.
only seen cinematic of it.
Yeah.
I will say the I want to get her name right. She was in Fallen Order. She was actually in the expansion for the Avengers game as Okoye. Let's see, what is her name? Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes,
Looking,
Bub says I'm still not sold on Gotham Knights. I don't know why. I'm more hyped for Suicide Squad. That's all right, yes, Bub.
I mean, each person has their own kind of taste in video
I got a
games,
feeling
which is
you're going to be playing both games regardless, but maybe you might end up enjoying Gotham Knights more than you think. That's lower expectations are not exactly a bad thing, or you can get a Crisis on Infinite Earth on your hand.
but I will say this: the appeal to a lot of people for Suicide Squad is the fact that it is 4 player
Yes,
and not just a 2 player
two-player
game the
Gotham Knights.
like the Gotham Knights. Exactly. So I cannot find her name, and I do apologize.
Well, I'll just say that I thought I enjoyed the Flash part in the cinematic that we got. It's cool to see Brainiac taking over some of the Justice League, and will they actually kill them, or will they like take them out of Brainiac's hold? That's what I'm interested to see because there is a shot there in the cinematic where Wonder Woman is fighting Superman, and I think that they somehow free Wonder Woman from Brainiac's
So
control, and then she teams up with them. And will that be a controllable player then? Who knows? That's something.
it's Deborah Wilson
Yeah.
is the person that was in Fallen Order. She was in she was Okoye in the Avengers game, the expansion for Black Panther, and now she is playing Amanda Waller in
Ooh.
the Suicide Squad game. I'm very excited to see her. She has been in a lot of video game. Um, she's been in a lot of video games lately, so it's really cool to see her in this. Um, the way Wonder Woman looks in this game looks badass. I'm super excited to see her here. I'm really excited. The fact that like this again, for people who don't know, is the continuation of the Arkham games. This is
Yeah.
within the same universe, so that is why you didn't see a Batman in this Justice League. You only saw Flash. You only saw Green Lantern.
We saw Batman's Batarang, didn't
You
we?
saw his batarangs, you
Yeah.
saw the cave, but this is from a have you never played Arkham Knight?
I
Am I
did,
about to
but I don't we don't know when this takes place. This could be before the events
Oh,
of Arkham
I
Knight.
think this is a sequel. I think they've confirmed that this is a sequel to the
I just
Arkham
thought they
game.
confirmed that they took place in the Arkham
Oh, in the
universe.
same universe?
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe.
So because I feel like if you have like Suicide Squad killing the Justice League, I feel like Batman has to be one of the options
Oh,
on the board there.
oh no, I think it would be I think it's more of a tease and more fun if
Oh,
this
I
is a
think your way
sequel.
would be the way to go for the story for us
Yeah.
as like people, but I don't know. I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would do that and not take the opportunity to put a Batman in there as a character to go against.
S Bub says, I think the gameplay reveal for Suicide Squad is going to be very interesting. I wonder how abilities and weapons will work. Now, they did talk
Same.
about that because the panel last year was a little bit longer. They talked a little bit about how Deadshot is going to have more of like a Boba Fett type of feel in the sense of his like jetpack and flamethrower and all of these different things. So I'm super excited. I already know I've
And
picked my
Boomerang's a
character
speedster too.
and he is a metahuman in here. I've already picked my character. I'm going to be King Shark. I think the way this game gets better is if you get DLC with other Suicide Squad members. I
Yes,
think that's
that's
the only way you do it here. But and I will say this: the big thing about Arkham games is not that it's not too heavy on the DLC, but there is extensions to each game in the Arkham series as far as DLC goes.
yeah.
So it would not surprise me if DLC is a big player in this game as well.
I would not be against it as long as you're upfront with me. Don't pull the Avengers thing of we're not going to. You're not going to be able to buy XP and then guess what? You can buy XP now.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I don't like that part when you build and build and build towards something, then there's like, oh no, you can spend this money to get it too. Don't like that, but I'm
Now,
excited for both these games, Clay. And both, I'm sure you are as well. We want to take our final ad break before
take our
we.
final ad break, and I believe this is our last show we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Peacemaker.
Yep.
So we will be right back after this break. All right, and we are back. Peacemaker. Unfortunately, this was in the midst of all of those panels that I did not care about.
Yeah, I got kind of got
This
lost in the shuffle, didn't it?
and I think again, it really depends on how you're viewing this. If you're one individual that is watching it, I think you can definitely pay more attention. We were in a room full of 5, 6 other people kind of conversating, and one other person may not like it, the other one may. It was harder to listen to some of that stuff, but I will be completely honest. I'm not really thrilled for the behind the scenes of this. I'm wanting to see how this pushes James Gunn's story forward. So that's what I was wanting to know. And they were answering really generic questions that most of the fans would have already known about the character of Peacemaker and how John Cena felt about playing the character, because we've already seen him in Suicide Squad, things like that. But what did you think overall for this trailer that they released?
I enjoyed the trailer, Clay. I didn't enjoy, like you said, we had a lot of like much to do about nothing. There wasn't much said about the show. We didn't really need the panel because they didn't say anything really, in my opinion, about the show that we didn't know, or about Peacemaker we didn't know. They wouldn't talk about anything. I enjoyed the trailer. I'm gonna enjoy the show. I did enjoy the character from Suicide Squad,
Yeah,
so I think I'm gonna enjoy the show. There was some funny stuff. The eagle hugging him is probably the thing I chuckled at the most there. There's some stuff that I didn't chuckle at, which is always the case with me with James Gunn's humor. It's 70-30 for me usually,
yeah.
or it was higher than that in the Suicide Squad and in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. So it's just,
Espo says, I am excited for Peacemaker. It looks like an overall fun time.
yes.
Frank says, biggest Peacemaker news for me this weekend is that Garth Ennis is writing a Peacemaker series. That is actually true. Yes, he is making a series. I will say, though, I don't know how I feel about that, because his Batman Reptilian book has not been great. So we will see how that goes. But in regards to this trailer, I'm kind of same with you. There were some things that I thought were really funny, some things that I was kind of confused about. One thing is the tone of which Cena is playing Peacemaker in here. We've seen him already play Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad. Them doing the training montage, I thought he was acting very silly, but at the same time, like, he's supposed to also be a hard ass. But at the same time, the story is also supposed to be a story about how he loosens up. So it's very confusing, that whole thing. But we don't know how the series of events takes place, as far as if this trailer is necessarily linear or not. So I'm still going to give it a
It could be
chance.
right at the start, the training, because he did the exact same thing with Bloodsport too.
Uh, but was he as silly with it, like holding up the
Yeah, he
vase
was.
towards his crotch and
Yeah,
everything
remember
else?
he shot the exploding bullet into the guy and made the
Oh yeah,
showing off
yeah,
the dopest. So they kind of had this back and forth thing, funny, killing all the freedom fighters when in reality it wasn't. I really enjoyed Vigilante. I thought that he kind of reminded me a little bit of the Arrow Vigilante, but seemed a little bit more weird after
he
a while. Like he's like, oh, he's just hiding there helping.
he's a James Gunn character in this
Yeah.
in this show for
Yeah,
sure.
whereas the
Uh,
other one, he's more the strong, silent type in the
yeah, as Pub
Arrow
says,
show.
Vigilante was kind of a knockoff Deadpool in this trailer. I haven't been a big Vigilante reader as far as the comics go, but I will say that comic, or that suit, is very comic book accurate. It is
Yes.
100% ripped off of the pages of which freaking Wolfman created him, and I
I'm
think
excited to
that
see
is
who the
really,
big
really
bad's
cool.
going to be, Clay. Like, I don't know. I'm just excited to see how this season's going to turn out. Like, I'm going to watch it. There's no way it's going to be worse than the show we're going to talk about after we're done talking about this.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
I will say I'm going to take a hot take. I don't think there's going to be a big bad for Peacemaker. I think there's just going to be like a, hey, here's a nuisance, we'll take care of it, and we're going to focus on character stuff.
Oh, okay. That wouldn't be too bad either.
Yeah.
If
But
Bub says, I bet the villain's going to be his dad. I think it's going to be the eagle.
I could see it being his dad.
Same.
Actually, I can kind of see it. But let's go ahead and jump into our weekly reviews. We wanted to leave this last just because we knew it was going to be a slog, like Travis thought of all DC fandom.
Not all, just some. Flew the board kept coming up and not knowing what was coming or going. Candace Patton didn't seem like she was having the greatest time.
I think we will have more to say on Titans. So let's leave that for. Do you want to rip the Band-Aid or you want to leave it for last?
We'll leave it for last,
Okay.
and just so that our two Marvel Alliance friends will have to listen to it before next week.
I will say these reviews for Doom Patrol and Stargirl are going to be very
quick
rapid
90
fire.
to 120-second reviews of what we thought about these episodes, but there wasn't much that happened. Let's start with Stargirl.
Stargirl, yeah. I will tell you this. I understand where the writers are going, but and I could make an argument for both quote unquote teams between Courtney and Pat, but I think it's a little ridiculous to have such hate or animosity towards Pat for this quote unquote secret, because it's not really a secret. Like, yeah, you could say, oh yeah, you're the team that you always looked up to murdered a person. Like, yeah, that's bad, but like he also saved the world. Like,
yeah, I didn't get that at all. I that conflict. I hate that when the whole you kept the secret from me, and it's not really a super important secret, but you just are mad about the overall thing about keeping the secret.
The idea,
when it's the parents too,
and the idea of, because she threw in Pat's face. Oh well, you know, if Yolanda would have known that she wasn't the first JSA member to murder somebody,
that's the dumbest thing ever.
That's so dumb. Murder is still murder, and that's gonna weigh on somebody's.
Yeah, and that was one of the better things about Yolanda, was having to go through that.
Yeah, like the whole concept of her thinking that, if only we knew that you murdered somebody, freaking Eclipso would have already been gone by now. It's like, that's stupid.
I enjoyed Green Lantern coming back, Jade. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great little shot at the end, her versus Eclipso. I enjoyed Grundy bringing Rick an apple. That was stupid but funny.
I am surprised. I mean, I know budget and everything else, but I'm interested to see if we ever see Grundy again.
Oh yeah, we got him a couple times in the story. I assume once Rick gets out, maybe he'll even help him with Eclipso. So that's kind of what
maybe that'll be interesting.
And we also got Return to the Shade, which we kind of figured out where he got his power and how. I thought that was a good little scene.
Yeah, you know,
nothing really happened.
The turn with Shade, I actually enjoyed.
Yeah,
I like that, because, like, yes, villains teaming up or anti-hero, whatever, like it's a cool idea, but like to keep Shade a villain, I think was fun. Like,
and also the McNider stuff and Beth standing up for herself. That was nice, saying like, "No, I want to talk about this all this time, and you guys didn't. Nope. So peace out." And I'm not
not being a pushover was really fun for Beth's character, for sure.
So I enjoyed this more than I thought I would, Clay, especially comparative to the other two episodes. But there wasn't a whole lot that happened.
Yeah, 100%.
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. Not a whole lot happened.
I had the least to say about that.
I almost didn't watch it today, because not necessarily because I didn't want to talk about it, because even John asked us this question as well. Let me get to it. He says, shoot, what was it? He said something. Am I missing something, or is Doom Patrol lacking some direction this year? I don't know where the story is really going or who the villain is. I'm still liking it, but seems to be a dip in quality writing wise this season. I 100% agree.
Same.
I don't think there's really a lot of direction here. It looks like they're wanting to connect some stories. The only story that I'm really interested in learning is Rita's, and that story continued in this episode, but it went a little longer than I really wanted it to. This whole story of how Rita is going back to the past and how she forgets who she is because she cried away her memories is like, it was weird. Like I don't understand that whole concept, to be completely honest. And not knowing who she is, like, is just a play on what Rita's character is, and is like, if the story is, hey, you cannot use the time machine because you lose your memories, I think that's silly.
Yeah, that's not. I don't know. Bring a piece of paper with some of the things written down about who you are, or a VHS or something. That would be the first thing.
51st Dates,
I enjoyed the Cliff part of this with him. You
uh,
know,
talking to a call girl and
yeah,
gambling
getting
and selling
addicted.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just classic Cliff stuff. Uh,
That was
I
fun.
didn't. Vic getting synthetic skin was something that I'm not a big fan of. I just like Cyborg accepting who
It's
he is.
it is a I understand what I know where they're going, or where they're wanting to go. This whole thing of like, oh, I can't really accept myself because I'm different. And then once he is different, he's gonna learn, oh, I'm cool different, and he's gonna rip off the synthetic skin and be cyborg again. Like, I know where this is going. Like, and I've said this from the very beginning of this season. Cyborg is the black sheep within the black sheep, and he just feels like a very odd character within this show.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I said, it's not. I don't know where it's going. I have no idea. And
Yeah.
like we're 6 episodes in now. Yeah, six, and I
Yep.
don't know what's going on. And I thought that Chief not being around would have affected all of them a lot more than what it has so far.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hopefully it picks up, but we lose. We go through our final show and the penultimate episode, usually the best episode, usually being the case, not right at this moment though. We're going to talk about Titans today. And before I let you rap about Titans, because I know that you love to rap about Titans, I'm going to have to say a few things because listeners, there was twice in this episode where I paused the episode and took breaks, and they weren't a 10-minute break to get something to eat or to use a bathroom. These were days of breaks in between because I couldn't muster the strength to come back and watch this show because it made no sense. There was 2 points. Clay's going to talk about more, but Gar finally turning into another animal. How awesome was that? How cool. Bat, that's fine. Like that same thing. I wanted him to turn into a small bird-like animal. Bat, perfect. And you completely ruin it by having all kinds of other bats come to the exact same place and have them lift Nightwing out of there when you have Raven, who has been doing weird stuff with that purple Ivanhoe's looking gunk that she controls for the last 3 seasons. She couldn't pick Dick up and bring him to the Lazarus pit. You had to make this nonsense story plot that made
Okay.
no sense.
Okay. Let's get right to it. Because I will tell you, I woke up that morning, that Thursday, 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. No, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Started the show, and I paused it. 2 minutes,
Yeah.
14 seconds.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 14 seconds.
The bats knew that you
And
loved Dick,
I
so they
and
came
I
to you. Is that what you paused it? Because that's where I
no,
paused
no,
it.
no, no. I paused it as soon as the bats started to pick Dick Grayson up. As soon as they started to pick him up, I paused it. I went into our GOA chat and I said, "Hey, I'm 2 minutes and 14 seconds into this show. Can we not talk about it? Can we not? Do I have to finish
Yeah,
it?
we're getting through
Two
this now.
minutes
Like this is a
and
battle of
14
attrition. This is a battle of
two
attrition.
minutes and 14 seconds. Oh no, I forced everybody to say, hey, I said in the GUA chat that they needed to bully you into finishing that one episode so we could talk about the finale next week. I am not looking forward to this finale.
I am
No.
just because Chris and Brent have to watch it and come take a little bit
There
of
is
time
there
and
is
talk
no
about it and
way.
suffer with us.
There is no way on God's green earth, on
They're
Jack
not sticking the
Kirby's
landing.
on Jack Kirby's multiverse. Like there is no way. I don't care if Marv Wolfman wrote the script. I don't care if Tom King wrote the script. I don't care if Tom Taylor wrote the script. Nothing in all of existence can fix this finale. I'm
Well, it's
telling you,
going back in time and changing the events, maybe making
canceling the
some of the
show
stuff.
probably, which is not going to happen because
Yes,
it got a
yes,
season 4. Frank says
Donna is
Donna is becoming the
becoming.
best thing about the Titans. She's electric on screen. She deserves more. She is very electric on screen, if you know what I mean.
No,
Um,
she is the best part of the show right now. She's got a I don't give a if attitude,
so
and
so
I'm enjoying it.
so let's go back. Let's go back. So Beast Boy randomly turns into a bat. The bats pick Dick up and they take him to the Lazarus pit. And then Raven says he's going to have to fight for his soul. Okay, whatever. Then he goes his little dreamscape and that all happens. Now, Beast Boy comes back and him and Raven have this conversation. Raven says, "Oh, your love for Dick turned you into a bat."
No, that's
But
not what she said. She said your love, the bats could sense your love for Dick, and that's why they came to you.
okay, whatever. Either or.
Equally as preposterous.
But then she tells him that that door has locked, that he can no longer turn into a bat. Which I find no,
No.
she does. That is exactly what
I
she is
didn't
implying.
interpret it like that. I just
No,
interpreted
that is
his changing ability, and she was trying to help him unlock
no.
more animals.
I think that they're implying
No,
that
I don't think that at all,
because
Clay.
the story is going to be for next season that he needs to accept himself. He needs to because I think I'm going to go ahead and say this. So this, like, I think right when the season started, there was I think a Variety or a Deadline article with Ryan saying that Ryan was in an interview saying that his character of Beast Boy is going to be coming out as bisexual in the show. And I said, well, it needs to happen in the show and it needs to be visible so that way people know, hey, this character is bisexual. I think the love that they are talking about is not about family love. I think that Garfield is in love with Dick Grayson. I think this is a very bad thing because not because he's bisexual, not because he likes Dick Grayson. I think it's very bad because freaking minutes right before that happened, Dick Grayson was in this whole purgatory state where he saw his future daughter with Coriander, showing that they are going to have a relationship. You're already setting up Garfield to fail.
No,
Yes,
no,
100%.
they're not setting
100%.
Garfield up to be a love interest with Dick. No,
They
or not.
want it.
No, they're not.
Yes, they
You
are.
can't say 100%. There's nothing that we watch that
I am.
indicates 100% that they're doing that.
They're indicating that Garfield is in love with Dick Grayson
No,
in
they're
some
indicating that the Titans
capacity.
are family, Clay. Like that's what they
No.
talked about for 3 seasons. There's no. I'm sorry, I do
Why would
not.
the article say that he's bisexual and then that happens and then you're just going to assume but it's because they're
The
brothers?
article. When did that article come out?
It was like by episode 3
Of what season
of this
1?
season. Of this season.
I haven't even seen the article, but there's nothing that we watched to indicate anything other than you. If you read an article, that you're looking into it way too much. When all they talked about for the entire season is Titan being family, and you got Gar being like loving his family, and then you got the other side of it, Superboy saying "fuck the Titans" and
No,
this is the
I
family.
think that's what they're going for.
I can't see how you can 100% think that from what we got. I can't see how you can 100% like
because
think,
of what freaking Raven said as well. Because of your love for Dick, this happened.
yeah,
Showing
no,
his
the bats
passion.
came to you. No, I
But
think they did. No, they
I
didn't say
that's
passion. You're inserting words that are adding
no,
to.
I'm not saying that's what she said, but I am saying that connecting the dots. This is what is being shown.
I'm gonna okay, putting out here now, listeners. If this comes out that he actually, if this exactly as Clay has said it, I will send Clay a $25 gift card from a comic, like whatever. Like we'll say whatever comic reader that Clay uses online. I will send him a $25 like gift card for that comic if they go this route, because I don't get anything from what we watched, but that could be just a gigantic naive me not thinking that they're going to go down that route. Another mistake.
I think it's the
And I
reason
want wait just
why
one other thing. I just want to make sure Beast Boy Gar being bisexual is not a mistake at all. I want to make
No, no, no,
sure.
no, no,
Just
no,
the
no.
story, the way they may
He
handle
being
it.
bisexual is okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay for the writers to set up a bisexual character to fail
Oh
because
yeah.
they already setting up a relationship in the future.
Oh, I
think
agree.
I
But
think that is wrong because you're already setting up a part of the LGBTQ community to fail, and I don't think that is lifting up that community. It is literally, like I've been saying, setting them up to fail.
I think that from seeing their potential daughter, that uh, that's not the way they're going to go. Maybe because I do think that Dick and Gar are close. I think that he looks up to him as a mentor, and I think that maybe he could come out to Dick. I think that could be a very powerful scene, just telling him like more of coming to grips with
I
who
can
he
see that
is.
as well.
Yeah, I don't want
I
it
just
to be.
really hope that it's
hope
not what I
I
want.
hope it's not what you think. That's why I'm
Yeah,
feeling kind of passionate, because it would be so terrible. I would probably never watch again if that
yeah,
was the
no,
case,
like,
because that would be like an
and
ultimate
unfortunately,
slap.
like I said, this did get his 4th season. They
Yeah.
announced it at Fandome.
Doom Patrol got his fourth
We
season as well.
we said that we're a glutton for punishment. Thank God Red Hood didn't get a movie. Jesus Christ.
No.
But this whole thing, like, we already said we're a glutton for punishment. We're gonna see season 4. But if that happens, if they literally set up Garth to
I would
fail
turn
in his
off
rela-
TV and never watch it again.
I will not watch.
Yeah.
I will not
I
continue season 4.
I hope they got a bit more sense than that, Clay. Let's hope
But
they have a bit more sense. But one other
so
mistake I want to talk
in
about.
this in this episode, they do not have a whole lot of sense, because talking about Dick Grayson, we see him go through this whole mindscape thing. We see that for some reason Scarecrow is in his head.
Yeah,
This
in his afterlife.
it's so weird because his problems throughout the entire season is not Crane, and for some reason that is what is driving his battle for his soul.
Would you think that would be
Been
Bruce?
no, it shouldn't have been Bruce, because Bruce was hardly in the season. It should have been Jason Todd.
No,
As much
but
as
I
I hate
figured it
him,
would have been Bruce being where Crane was,
like his head
not at the
game.
end.
Yeah.
Like I figured he would be more like making him
That would have made more
be more
sense.
like him. Oh, this stuff with Crane, I just didn't even
So
understand it. And the most frustrating part is when he gets through his entire journey and comes out.
yes.
He's not even wearing the Nightwing costume anymore.
So
He's wearing like this.
he went into the Nightwing. He went into the Lazarus with his Nightwing costume. Then when he literally punches out of the Lazarus pit, he is wearing the button-up shirt that he was wearing in his last vision
Where you met his dad.
Which I think, why? That makes no sense whatsoever.
That's just basic.
Beast Boy and Raven think nothing of it, and they're like, "Hey, what do we do?" Then Dick Grayson says, "Oh, go find Donna." How the hell does he know that Donna is even alive? Doesn't make any sense. Donna did not appear to him at all in this dreamscape purgatory ideal that he is dealing with in Lazarus Pit. Like, nothing is making sense in this. Like, they are literally just writing this stuff in to move toweards the finale. They're like,
Clay,
"Hey, we need to move this over. We need to move this forward."
That's like storytelling 101, though. Like to be like, when we're watching the dailies back, Nightwing, we threw him in the Lazarus pit. He come back out with a completely different outfit. Why? That didn't happen with Jason Todd. When Jason Todd was thrown in, he came out the exact same way he went in.
No. What you should have done is you should have filmed him going into the Lazarus pit and coming out of the Lazarus pit on the same exact day, so he would still be wearing the same costume.
He should have been wearing a costume. I don't even understand that. That was so frustrating to me, and I'm over this Scarecrow. I just hope somebody kills him, because he's not anywhere. He's not using fear toxin.
And then he goes to Jason. He goes to Jason because Jason goes back to the same spot that he killed, or he didn't even kill him. This wannabe Red Hood person kills him. And he's like, how are you alive? You were dead. I saw you. You were laying down I'm like, dude, you got risen by the Lazarus pit, and you're questioning how people can live?
It's just decisions and dialogue, and I just hope there's a new showrunner for the next season that is announced already, that we got another season. I hope that there's a new showrunner, because it's just basic stuff.
I listened to a podcast today that was saying that people are 50-50 on this season.
I've seen a lot of people say that they're positive on this season, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I've seen about 15% of people saying that it's positive.
I'll never come into your mentions and tell you that I don't like the show or it's terrible, but I don't know. We're watching a different thing.
I can't be friends with people who think this is a good show.
Clay, one episode left. Listeners, we'll be there next week to review this show. Be in the
Chris
chat
and
with
Brent.
Chris and Brent from Marvel Alliance.
We are finally going to be giving away our Titans Earth 1 volumes. Remember, it is tweet at us, screenshot it at us on Twitter, whatever
or
you have
be
to.
in the chat. Anyone in the chat.
Live
this
chat.
is more. This is just to try to get everyone live while we're reviewing Titans. You all have to suffer with us. So anyone that's in the chat.
And I feel like it's going to be a hilarious episode. I think that we are going to laugh a whole lot. Because
at the start of the episode too. Just
if we don't laugh, we will cry. So be here. It'll be the very first topic of discussion. If you cannot join us in the live chat, remember to tweet at us. Teen Titans Earth 1 is the hashtag that you can be entered to win Volume 1 and 2 of Teen Titans Earth 1. But with that, Travis, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line. We can chat about DC anytime. I also host superhero discussions for the network. Patrons, take a look at. There may be something coming for you that will be going on the feed in a couple weeks because I have some DC content to get through. I did talk about the animated news from Fandome, but I also have Injustice and Young Justice to go through as well.
I think I am going to be joining you on some conversations of Young Justice.
Yes, we're going to be talking. Thankfully, after doing some searching, because they didn't attach it to anything but Fandome, but every Thursday, Young Justice is coming out with a new episode. So
so with the finale of Titans, there is going to be something to wash that disgusting taste out of my mouth.
2 episodes of Young Justice in, Clay. Tell listeners if you enjoy them.
Oh, I enjoyed the first 12 minutes of the first episode of Young Justice more than I enjoyed the entire season of Titans season 3. So
tell them where they can find you for all those takes and more. Now.
Yes. Frank also says I'm trying not to laugh hard. He says Titans must be getting great views since 4 is coming, baby. That is a hot take for sure. But of course, you can find me at Fanboy Clay over on Twitter. Linktree will be in the show notes as well as in my bio on Twitter. It shows the links to all of the shows that I am a part of, that being DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Comic Book Legion Podcast, Weird Science, Marvel, DC, and Manga, as well as the Ranger Alliance, which dropped today. I talk about the comics as well as joined by Tony to talk about the episodes that we are on season 2 of Mighty Morphin. And then also the very newly added Star Wars Alliance. Me and Katie will be reviewing the Terrifying Tales this week, the Lego Star Wars. But next week, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Ronin, which is the actual story of the very first episode of the Star Wars Visions.
That's interesting. I can't wait to join you guys for Kenobi. Like, I'm going to be at so many of those.
It's going to be a fun series. I am like, Star Wars is going to be hitting it off next year. A lot of stuff coming.
Clay, I may be more excited about Kenobi than anything else in the new year besides Batman. Honestly.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for that. I was one of those characters that really connected with me when Ewan McGregor put in the role, and I loved him in the first 3. Yeah. So I'm excited for you guys to get to that.
Yeah, really, really exciting stuff. But with that, guys, thank you again for lasting this long. And we will see you guys next week where everybody is going to suffer. Everyone is going to suffer. We will see you guys next week.
Later, everyone.